5 years ago, homes sold faster than pandemic toilet paper, and buyers were giving up their firstborns as down payment. But now we've gone from buyers going
Shut up and take my money!
to this.
Bite my shiny metal.
And in 2020 to 2021, that's the time when pretty much everyone was paying just anything over asking price no matter what, just so they could get the house. And calling this a seller's market was a definite understatement because this was a literally I will Venmo you my life savings, or buyers asking sellers if they take Cash App. If you were a seller, you could offer a ghost haunted fixer upper closet as and label it as a cozy urban living, and you'd have more offers in your inbox than you'd get those hot singles interested in you in your area messages. And a little history for those of you that were too young to remember the 2020s, or maybe you just tucked it away and locked it away in your mind, but it wasn't all just toilet paper shortages and sourdough obsessions. The pandemic triggered a once in a generation shift in the housing market. Interest rates were slashed to historic lows, some mortgages dipped below 3%, and that caused the market to flood with buyers. At the same time, remote work created a sudden demand for larger homes once people realized that being trapped with their roommates or family 24/7 made them
Go crazy?
Don't mind if I do.
and supply couldn't keep up. Home builders faced material shortages and labor constraints, and then homeowners were hesitant to sell during a global health crisis. The result became skyrocketing home prices, with some markets seeing 20 to 30% year over year gains. It was definitely a wonderful time as a seller, and I guess the low mortgage rates actually made it pretty great for buyers also. And if you were unemployed at the time, you were actually in one of the rare moments in history where you might have made more than someone who actually had a job. Now, in 2022 to 2023, that's what we call peak and plateau, because starting with 2022, the Federal Reserve faced off against inflation, and then that sent interest rates soaring, launching mortgage rates and costs into the stratosphere. Rates doubled and soared past 7%, causing prospective buyers to spit out their coffee, trip over their Excel sheets, and faint at the sight of expected mortgage payments. As if we were witnessing a live part of a bad magic act, affordability vanished and buyer demand was sent back to the shadow realm wherever it came from. By 2023, appreciation slowed down. Some prices slipped and everyone braced for impact. Investors quietly moonwalked out of the scene, first-time buyers slipped on their savings, landed back into rental apartments, and premium prices for extra closet space surged due to demand. So ending 2023, a sense of uncertainty loomed in the air. People wondered if the market would crash or if it was simply just a correction. Investors began pulling back, and first-time buyers were increasingly priced out. Rental markets boomed temporarily as more people delayed homeownership. And now we have the flip in 2024 to 2025, which I call the housing market villain arc. By 2024, signs of a true shift began to emerge. Housing inventory increased as new construction, delayed from earlier years, finally came about. More homeowners, realizing the peak has passed, decided to list their properties before values fell further. Mortgage rates remained high, hovering in between 6.5 and 7.5%, which continued to suppress demand. So home prices have dropped significantly in many regions, particularly those that had seen the most dramatic growth during the pandemic years, such as Austin, Phoenix, parts of Florida. Price reductions are commonplace, and many sellers now are offering incentives like mortgage rate buydowns or covering closing costs just to attract more buyers. So buyers now have the upper hand for the first time in years. Unlike the competitive frenzy of 2021, they now have the time and options to negotiate. Homes are sitting longer on the market, and multiple offers on a home are rare. So appraisals are also coming in lower, reflecting the downward price trend, and many who bought at the peak of the market are now underwater on their mortgages, and delinquencies are ticking up slightly, though not yet at crisis levels. So in a nutshell, let's wrap up the core drivers in 2025, but the three major forces at the heart of the 2025 market flip is number one, sustained high interest rates. And the Fed has not lowered rates significantly, which keeps mortgages unaffordable for many. This has continued to cool demand and reduced purchasing power. Number two is increased housing supply. Years of underbuilding have finally started to reverse, with more inventory reaching the market. This shift in supply-demand dynamics has pushed prices downward. Number 3, lastly, is buyer fatigue and economic caution. Many Americans are now cautious about big purchases because of economic uncertainty, stagnant wage growth, and student loan repayment pressures, which has overall dampened enthusiasm for homeownership. That's about all I have for this video. If you liked it, then please hit the like button and subscribe.